My parents have had a huge influence on the person I've become, so much so that I now sound exactly like my father. I wanted to find out more about why my father has inputted so much time and effort into Leo's interests and mine as well. When you were 15, you made some films. How did you get access to those sorts of cameras and things?
My mother had a Super 8 camera, which she bought for filming holidays. Bell and Howl, I think it was, but it had no sound, and it was probably very expensive. But you had 3 minutes of film. Kodak Super 8. Obviously, watched films all my life, virtually. So probably started interest in films started a long time ago.
Why did you decide to make films about World War II?
Because that's what all the movies, was John Wayne, D-Day, The Longest Day, those are all the sorts of movies that you ever saw as a child of that age. Those are the things you saw as your diet. After we made the World War ones, we actually had an idea of doing a different one, which was about burglary and things like that. But I can't remember why it didn't happen. Probably because my mother didn't want us breaking the window of the house with a hammer, which I think was part of the script. I think that was a limit. Sand into the playroom, that was okay, but breaking the window with a hammer, not so good.
A bit like me doing hammer turns.
Yes, exactly. Yes, there are limits. There are limits to one's patience as a parent.
You've always been quite a big part in my filmmaking.
It's fun. I did that when I was young, and it was great. You know, there's a lot of you put a lot of planning into it, and then there's a great deal of method involved in making sure you've done things and you've done them right. This is scene 129, take 1.
And action.
You've got to balance running your own company, which is actually pretty much all-encompassing. You're on all the time, as you know, from getting calls on holiday and things like that, and sitting in that small damp study. I know my father struggled with that because he was working in Rolls-Royce. He didn't spend very much time at home. He was always off somewhere doing something or at work, but then he didn't have very much time at home with his family. He was either in the car or at work. Finding time to spend with your family is actually a challenge and something you have to work at, which is probably why I do that. That's what I'm here for, isn't it? To pay that, pick up the bills. Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, you have to be very careful. I mean, I was very interested in films, and I made films when I was young, and I often thought while you were going through your process, I was thinking, I hope I haven't actually pushed him into doing this, made your career choice for you. And that was always, I had that in the back of my mind, but I don't think that's the case. I think we've actually actively sort of said, are you sure, are you sure, are you sure? And clearly, from the amount of film work you do, then I think that's probably right. And it's the same with Leo, he has his interests. All you need to do as a parent is just give it a bit of support and water it. And if it continues and gets bigger, then it continues and gets bigger. And if it doesn't and it fizzles out, then so be it.
Availability to go out due to the weather is not as much as people in America would like, you know, who can go out every day and fly because the weather's so good. But here in the UK, yeah, after school or any time we're free, we'll be like, right, things are charged up, let's just go out and fly.
Well, the reason I bought the Phantom was because I wanted to take aerial photographs. And now he's into the multi-rotors, which is a different thing again with FPV. But I think the FPV, the first-person view, is a natural progression because it's a bit like playing a computer game, except it's not, because you're there with your goggles on. Have you seen the goggles?
Yeah.
You've got the goggles.
Sure.
So you've got the goggles on and you're actually living whatever it is that you're flying is doing. So when you're flying off between trees, it is like you're doing it yourself. So it is a bit like a first-person shooter or something like that, a driving game or something like that. But you're actually doing it for real.
Right, I think the reason my dad flies is when he was growing up, he saw remote control, but it wasn't as accessible as all the planes and everything now, because you have foam planes and everything, and you can buy an airframe for £30, and so it's actually really, really cheap. But back then it was all wooden, you know, metal, like an actual plane shrunk down. So I think having the availability now and the fact that I'm kind of here and I can build stuff is, yeah, he wants to now fly planes as well.
You also do something else, which is the Under 17 Car Club. When did you start?
So I started, I think the first time I drove a car was when I was about 10, but I started the car club when I was 11.
He's very good. He's not as interested in cars as you were. He's not as interested in driving. He doesn't enjoy it as much. I know when you drove, I mean, the advice given to associates, which is what we are, as far as the members are concerned, is to give them a break every 15 minutes because, you know, it's quite tiring. But I could never get you to stop. You would never stop. You just get in the car, drive all morning, then we'd have the lunch break. You have to stop. And then you get back out on the circuit again afterwards and just drive all afternoon. Whereas Leo, he definitely needed his breaks early on. We spent more time not in the car than in the car. But you have a lot of hours. I mean, you think about how many hours it is. It's hundreds of hours that you get before you actually arrive on the road. But then when you actually arrive on the road, it is a different thing altogether.
You don't have to look so
Look, you're not going to climb Mount Everest.
I don't know what you want me to look like.
Stand heroic.
Don't look at me if I ask you a question, so
That's it. You stick your foot like that.
you look heroic.
So that's been fun. We did all of them. Yeah, we did every event. We did the Caterham Drift, and we did the Caterham Slalom, and we did Rally Day, we did 4x4 Day, we did Stunt Day twice. Skid Pan, which I think I've done 4 times. Don't get any better at it, but 4 times. So we've done all those things, but they're great to do. They're great skills for anybody to learn. So I had a great deal of fun not only doing that. I mean, it's been difficult sometimes because there are other pressures, you know, on you to do various bits and pieces. So making a Sunday free to go and drive sometimes is difficult. Put the Thatcham video in, and you'll see why. I think it's an important skill, an important life skill. But inevitably, teenagers, when they first start driving, they drive into things. And I thought it would be a good plan to make sure that didn't happen.
I think it's got to be, like, honestly one of the best things, having your dad support you and pretty much everything you do, and he's there, and yeah, like being part of having him experience FPV and flying together is just so cool. Driving together, sharing an experience is just, yeah, it's pretty, really, like, yeah, It's awesome.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm just super lucky with where I am. Yeah. Because he just pays all the bills basically.
There's a folk song. A son is always asking his father to do things, and his father's response is always, "Oh, I'm too busy." And then the relationship changes because the son is then the one working, and the father becomes the one who retires and has much more leisure time, and then he is always asking his son to do things, and his son says, "No, I'm too busy." So it's a role reversal thing. So never be too busy.